let's dive straight into the glorious mess that is history, shall we?
Let's do it.
You ever get that feeling your commute is like the worst thing ever? Or your Wi-Fi's just crawling?
Uh-huh. Daily struggles?
Well, buckle up, Buttercup, because today we're giving you a bit of a perspective shift, maybe a downgrade, an epic one.
We're talking time travel.
Specifically, that classic internet trope, especially big in Russia, apparently,
Yeah.
the Popadinets.
Right. The sudden eeps, wrong century scenario.
Exactly. Imagine waking up, not to your phone alarm, but to, well, nothing modern at all.
It's that jarring displacement the trope explores. And like you said, the variations get wild.
Wild is putting it mildly. You could end up in someone else's very questionable 16th century undergarments.
Or bizarrely experiencing it all as a bee.
The internet really covers all the critical angles, doesn't it?
It really does. It taps into that fascination with the past and just how different things were, the sheer gap.
Which brings us to you, dear listener. Forget those tidy historical documentaries.
No sanitized reenactments here.
Nope. Today, you are the Popadens. Congratulations, you've just been unceremoniously yeeted into the Middle Ages.
Think of it as an immersive experience. 0 stars. No refunds.
Absolutely no refunds, and forget Wi-Fi. Let's get down to brass tacks. No phone, no antibiotics.
No deodorant.
Oh, God, no deodorant. How long before you start smelling authentically medieval?
The sensory assault would be immediate. The smells, the lack of hygiene.
Yeah.
It's a huge hurdle.
Okay, so picture it. You blink, maybe a crow squawks indignantly, and bam, you're on a muddy road.
Damp, probably smells of manure and decay.
And trees. So many trees. Welcome to your spawn point, the Forest of Death. Not exactly a welcoming committee.
And evil forests weren't their romantic places we imagined. They were wild, untamed, dangerous.
Danger is the key word. Forget your nice weekend hike. This place is like a 5-star resort for bacteria.
And bandits.
Right, and actual literal wild animals who see you as maybe a light snack.
Bears, wolves. Much more common, and a real threat back then.
So, feeling lucky. Let's play Pick Your Medieval Forest Nightmare. Do you stumble upon A, an extremely grumpy bear,
Uh-oh.
B, a pack of wolves who skipped etiquette class, C, a very businesslike boar with tusks like can openers,
Also bad.
or D, a passive-aggressive moose? Don't underestimate the moose. They look chill. They are not chill.
None of those are good options, really. Each presents a unique and probably fatal challenge.
The good news, sort of, is that surviving the forest. That's just the tutorial level.
Evil Survival 101.
Because once you stumble out of the trees, you get to meet something even more unpredictable.
Other people.
Exactly. Which brings us to the roads, or what passed for roads.
Often just muddy tracks, really. Poorly kept, no security.
Think less highway, more highway to hell, but forget the AC. These roads were, let's call them Tinder for crime.
An apt comparison. Lack of authority, lots of poverty.
Mhm.
Crime was rampant.
You've got your standard robbers, obviously. But maybe also escaped convicts looking for, a new opportunity, probably involving more crime.
Religious fanatics could be an issue, too. Trying to convert you, perhaps forcefully.
And traveling cult recruiters. Promising eternal salvation if you just hand over, well, whatever scraps you have left. Probably not much.
It was a complex social landscape, lots of different groups, not always peacefully coexisting.
Now you might think, safety in numbers, I'll team up. Bad idea. Maybe.
Traveling alone was risky, yes, but trusting strangers was equally dangerous.
You might meet someone who looks like Robin Hood, but he's more likely to steal your boots than give to the poor.
He might just stab you for them. Trust was scarce.
There's a tiny sliver of hope. You might run into some actual pilgrims heading somewhere holy.
Or maybe traitors. People less likely to murder you on sight.
Right, they could be your medieval Uber to the next level. The city.
A chance to find relative safety, perhaps?
Ah, the medieval city. Big stone walls, probably smelling faintly of everything. Jumbled wooden houses, disease hanging in the air. Charming.
Entry wasn't automatic, though. Cities controlled access. Tolls were common.
Yep.
Gotta pay to enter. Or bribe the gatekeeper. Especially if you look suspicious.
Like wearing modern clothes.
Oh, definitely. Rocking up in Nikes and jeans, that's a one-way ticket to the dungeon for wearing suspicious pants. Or maybe accusations of witchcraft. Clothing marks your status and origin. Modern gear screams outsider. And potentially sorcerer.
And let's be real, you probably didn't pack medieval chic. So, new scenario. You suddenly wake up in the body of a local peasant.
A common trope variation.
Congrats. Your life expectancy just plummeted, and your main hobby is now scratching. You're about 30% lice, 70% debt, and existential dread.
That's closer to the reality for most people back then.
Uh,
Poverty, hard labor, disease.
So you're here, you're itchy, and you're starving. Good news. Food exists.
Bad news. You might not want to know what's in it.
Exactly. What's on the menu? Maybe some liver pie, ingredients, TBD.
Some kind of porridge, maybe in a bread bowl.
Hey, edible bowls. That's sustainable at least. Or the classic. Something brown with bits in it. Culinary adventure.
Food safety wasn't exactly a priority. Preservation was basic. Illness was common.
To be fair, they did try. Lots of herbs, maybe to cover up. Other tastes.
Possibly. And boiling. They boiled everything.
Move, boil it. If it doesn't move, boil it just in case. Kill the germs, kill the flavor.
It was a rudimentary form of sterilization, even if it wasn't great for taste.
Okay. Food consumed, hopefully survived. Sleep time. Forget hotels. Your options are A, muddy ditch, B, tavern.
The tavern sounds better, but don't expect luxury.
Think. Medieval community center meets dive bar meets very basic hostel. All in one, noisy, probably birdy room.
Exactly. Restaurant, bar, shared sleeping space, potential crime scene. Privacy wasn't really a concept.
You'll share a straw mattress, maybe with someone snoring, or someone who might steal your turnips. It's atmospheric.
And a great place to catch diseases, given the close quarters.
Plus side, gossip. Hear all the local rumors. Minus side, drunk monks staring at you.
And maybe a bard will write a song about the weirdo foreigner. Probably not a flattering one.
Oral tradition, you know. Accuracy optional, entertainment mandatory.
Precisely.
Right. You've slept, maybe. What about fun? Let's get medieval. Entertainment options included. Public executions.
Grim, but a common spectacle. Served as punishment and a social event, reinforcing power structures.
Then there's people watching, like social media, but with more plague and fewer filters.
The threat of disease was constant, a backdrop to everyday life.
For the sporty types, medieval football, which was basically organized chaos.
40 guys, a pig's bladder, very few rules, lots of injury.
Sounds intense. And then there's church, medieval social media central.
The absolute pillar of society. Sermons, gossip about who sinned, community announcements.
And attendance was pretty much mandatory, right? Skip out and suddenly you're a suspected witch.
Or French, or both. Conformity was key. Suspicion of outsiders or heretics was high.
Okay, hypothetical. You smuggled your phone in. You're a tech god now.
Except, where do you charge it?
Ah, minor detail. No outlets in 1385. Bummer.
Makes the phone a rather expensive paperweight.
But before the battery dies, its final, tragic death, you could listen to this deep dive while hiding from wolves.
Limited use case.
Play medieval trivia, realize you know nothing useful, regret downloading Duolingo instead of a plague survival guide.
The irony would be painful. All that knowledge, completely useless.
And hey, maybe use that last 2% battery to activate that discount code quick.
A final, fleeting taste of the 21st century.
Now, surprise, medieval folks weren't totally against washing. They actually kind of liked baths.
Public bathhouses were a thing, yeah, especially in cities.
Think basic spa. More nudity, fewer rules, questionable water. Paris apparently had loads. Some offered extra services.
A different kind of deep dive indeed. Shows the different social norms. There were social hubs, too.
And they had soap, sort of. Probably felt like washing with gravelly lard.
Made from fat and lye. Rudimentary, but better than nothing, I suppose.
Oh, okay. So you're relatively cleanish. Now you need a job to, eat. Thinking of showing off your modern skills, watched a YouTube video on blacksmithing once.
Forget it. The guilds controlled everything. Trades, grafts.
Right. It's a closed shop. You need connections, an apprenticeship. You're an outsider. Your skills are useless to them.
So your options are grim.
Pretty much. Maybe try petty theft. High chance of getting flogged, though. Or just cry in a ditch. Seems plausible.
Bleak outlook. Social mobility was very limited.
One slightly less awful option. Move to a village. Become a farmhand.
They'll still be deeply suspicious of you.
Oh, for sure. But hey, freshish air. Swimming in the river. No more spreadsheets.
Small comforts. But it's incredibly hard physical labor, and you're still vulnerable to harvests failing disease.
So after all this, who are you? Realistically, not a knight, not a bard, not a cool rogue.
Probably just someone trying very hard not to die.
Yeah, you're basically a turnip enthusiast with fleas. Welcome to the Middle Ages.
That's likely the most accurate description.
Unless, plot twist, You land in Spain or Portugal, where apparently almost everyone was technically noble.
A historical quirk, yes.
Yeah.
Lots of hidalgos, noble titles, but often no money or real power.
So you're noble and broke, like a sadder Don Quixote. Great.
An interesting social dynamic, certainly.
Okay, final point. You have future knowledge. You can revolutionize society. Tell them about space travel, electricity, iPhones.
But
hmm
can you actually explain how any of that works?
Good question. Like, try explaining a bicycle, seriously.
Oh.
How the gears work, the physics. Can you even draw one properly from memory right now?
It's harder than it sounds. We use tech, but understanding it fundamentally. Often, no.
Exactly. So much for being Leonardo da Vinci. But wait, there is one invention you could probably manage, one simple thing that would blow their minds.
What's that?
Pockets.
Pockets.
Seriously, they didn't really have them sewn into clothes like we do. Just pouches and bags. Imagine, stitch some extra fabric onto your trousers, boom, secure, convenient carrying, you're a medieval Einstein.
That actually makes sense.
Yeah.
A simple, practical innovation with a huge impact on daily life.
See? Manageable genius. And there it is, your first, likely very rough 24 hours in the Middle Ages.
Quite the ordeal.
Tomorrow, you get to go back to your emails, your traffic jams, your rent payments. Sounds awful, right?
Compared to dysentery and flea infestations, maybe not so bad.
Exactly. At least you've got safe water, mostly. Painkillers. And glorious, glorious pockets.
It highlights the conveniences we just completely take for granted.
We really are living in a kind of golden age, folks. Of comfort, anyway. So next time your coffee's cold, just remember, it could be worse. You could be trying to trade a squirrel for some suspicious-looking
A
bread.
healthy dose of perspective.
And seriously, if you find a time machine, pack essentials, like a lot of essentials. And maybe a power bank, just in case.
Sound advice.
Right. That wraps up our little trip to the medieval. Let's call it an experience. Join us next time. We're heading to Victorian London. Think fog, cholera, and the surprisingly dangerous world of corsets.
Another charming era.
It's going to be great. Until then, stay safe, appreciate your plumbing, and may your pockets never be empty.